At this year's Eugene and Marilyn Glick Indiana Authors Award dinner, Indianapolis author Dan Wakefield received the Lifetime Achievement Award. Appearing in a panel at the Indy Author Fair preceding the event, Wakefield discussed his writing and reminisced about his friend, author Kurt Vonnegut, Jr.
Who were some of the influences, literary or otherwise, that have shaped your writing?
Well, of course, Vonnegut, and I started corresponding with him, and I met him in 1963 when he was living on the Cape, and I was on this Neiman Fellowship at Harvard, and we mainly talked about high school, and I wrote him once, and the way we really connected, I think our friendship began because I wrote him about how in high school I'd wanted to be a great athlete and I had no ability at all, and but I thought if anybody could become a great runner, so I decided I would run the mile and I'd become a great mile runner. And I timed myself. I even bought a stopwatch, and I used to run at dusk around the high school track. And I timed myself. My time was 7:02, which I think my grandmother could have done. So I worked harder. I trained more, and I timed myself again, and it was 7 flat. So I said, my inability to break the 7-minute miles turned me from running to writing. And Vonnegut then said, oh my God, I had a similar experience in high school, and he said when he was at Shortridge, there was a tradition, which thank God wasn't there when I was there, where some of the faculty gave joke presents to the seniors. And the football coach, he said he was a tall, scrawny, gangly, uncoordinated kid, and the football coach awarded him a subscription to the Charles Atlas bodybuilding course. And he was very embarrassed and felt very badly. And after Slaughterhouse-Five came out and made him a worldwide figure, he said he was sitting up late one night drinking bourbon, and he was in New York, and he called up Indianapolis Information and asked for the name of the football coach, and called him up, and he said, you may not remember me, my name's Kurt Vonnegut. He said, I just wanted to tell you my body turned out fine. So, well, television is a whole other animal. I mean, I've never met that kind of resistance, and I finally quit the show over that issue that they told us, somebody from NBC New York came in and said, we want the next show to be James turned 16 and has his first sexual experience. Well, we who were doing the show, we weren't going to do that till he was 35 or something. But anyway, so I said, okay, I want to write that show, but I want to know that I can honestly write about birth control, because he's supposed to be, somebody that kids look up to, and we've got to. So they said, oh yeah, absolutely, just say anything you want. Well, I knew there's one thing called programming, another thing called the censors, although they're not called censors, they're called standards and practices. And so I knew it was going to be hard, so I made up a dialogue between him and a young woman he's going to go to bed with, and I thought, this is surefire. I didn't use the word condom, I didn't use anything. I said, he says to her, now, before we go to bed, he says, are you responsible, or do I have to be responsible? And it's, know that they're talking about birth control, and they have this whole dialogue about who's responsible. And I swear to God, the NBC censors said you can't use the word responsible. That's when I quit.
You can learn more about the Eugene and Marilyn Glick Indiana Authors Award at indianaauthorsaward.org.